let's go ahead and jump in and talk about resumes and cover letters in the career prep section. I want to start with this video. How many of you are familiar or have watched the show Friends? Okay, good, good. I'm scared of the day that I say that and not many hands raised, but so far so good. All right, we'll jump in.
Can you really tap dance?
No.
Off the resume. Archery?
No.
Horseback riding?
We fall off a lot.
You can drink a gallon of milk in 10 seconds.
That I can do.
Come on, you can drink a gallon of milk in 10 seconds?
All right, watch me. Okay, your time. You ready?
Ready, go.
Okay, so lesson one for resumes. Let's be honest about them. Let's make sure that what we're putting on our resumes are an actual representation of us. Okay, so don't be like Joey, unless you can actually chug the gallon of milk in 10 seconds. So let's go over really basic things. Really basic things. Parts of a resume, and these are a lot of different parts. We'll talk about them one by one. The first one is the most important: identification. Your resume is no good if it doesn't have your name and contact information on it. We can finesse some really good stuff. We can put some awesome one-liners about the job that you've done and the way you've performed that job. We can put that you've won these awards and you have shown exemplary service to the community. But if you don't have your name, you don't have a way for the company to contact you, it's not going to be very beneficial at all. Okay, next, objective statement. What do I mean about an objective statement? Who knows what I'm talking about? Okay, goal for your career. Okay, so I will say for personal opinion, and maybe this is a caveat that I should start right now. You could take your resume to every office, every professor in this building, and they will all tell you something different about your resume. Every single one of them. Now, for the purpose of this course, I'm the one with the red pen, so let's try to listen to what I'm saying, and we'll get through this course with the resume that I've put out. The other part of that is there's also a sample resume in the career prep folder in Canvas. That resume has kind of been developed and worked on. We've put it in front of about a dozen corporate executives. Whenever they come in to recruit, I give them a handful of resumes. Okay, what do you like about this? What do you not like? Which one would you pick? Which one would you love to see come across your desk? And the one that we've developed is kind of it's the one that those recruiters preferred and like. So we've got a little bit of field experience on this one. So you may not completely like it, but trust me on it. It's probably going to get the job done. So objective statement, you will not find that on the sample resume, and here's why. Typical objective statement reads something like, I would love to pursue a career in accounting so that I can use and develop the skills that I have gained through my time at Harding University. Okay, that sounds really cool, except for it's kind of a no-brainer. Like that makes complete sense. Of course you want to use your skills in accounting that you just spent, we were talking $80,000 on to get, right? So we want to use those skills. That takes up 1 to 2 lines on a resume that you don't have to take up. We want to work really hard to get your resume to 1 page, and for most of us in the room, we can get our resume on 1 page. It's going to be a dynamic 1 page, and so that's what we want to focus on. We don't want to waste space by having things that are redundant or just don't need to be on there at all. So objective statement, that is a part of a resume, but it's one that we are not going to use in this class. A career summary. What does that look like?
All the jobs that you've had in the past, from most recent to least recent.
Okay, so a chronological order of jobs. Depending on what job you're going for, that may be the way to go. For the most part, what you're looking at on the career summary, it is a list of your jobs, and it's got some details about what you did at each job, maybe some, and it's not just tasks that you had, it's maybe things that you learned, things that you excelled at. If you were at a job and you received an award, even if it was a summer job and you got top salesman or best assistant manager or something like that, that's something that you want to put in there in that section. Maybe you improved on the quota, whatever it would be. These are things that we can put in there in that career summary. The other part about that, some would be chronological. Others, and we'll talk a little bit about a targeted resume, you want to put things that best apply to that job. Some of you have worked quite a bit, and you may have 6 or 7 jobs. They're not all going to fit on there, but I bet we can find 3 that really are geared towards the position that you're applying for. So that's what we'll put them in there. We'll probably still go chronological unless there's one that's just dynamo, and we got to put that thing out front. For example, if you are out of college and you want to go work in DC, and you want to be a lobbyist or something to that effect, and in college you had several good jobs. Maybe you were a manager at Staples, and maybe you did something on campus. You were a graduate or a teacher assistant on campus, something like that. But in high school, you were a student aide to a senator. We're probably going to put that pretty close to the top because we want that you had DC experience right up there at the top. And we'll talk a little bit more about kind of the flow of the resume. But yeah, that's kind of the career summary. Qualifications. Qualifications. That's you will see in a job description, right? So we've read some job descriptions online or in the paper or posted on a board somewhere, and it said this is what you have to get this job. That is like the golden ticket that they're just giving you for free. If it says qualifications, hard worker, team player, motivated, things like that, those are words that need to be in your resume somewhere. They don't have to be in one big block, but they need to be in there somewhere. So you need to go and find maybe in your career summary section, you need to find a job where you were a team player and put the phrase team player. Because when they go to search, that's what they're going to search for. They're going to search for motivated. If, for example, they put in there that you have to have a Bachelor of Business Administration, which if you graduate from this building, you'll have one. And instead of spelling that out, you put on your resume that you received a BBA from Harding, or a BBA in accounting, or BBA in management from Harding. If it's scanning, it's not going to pick it up. The computer's looking for Bachelor of Business Administration. BBA is not going to cut it. Okay, so you need to know these things about qualifications. Make sure that you put the right keywords in there, because that's really all qualifications are. They're keywords that they're looking to scan through the resume. Personal information. What do I mean by personal information? Okay, an example of personal information may be hobbies. It could be things that you like to do. These are things that you find in resumes. These are things that I would not put in a resume, but this is part of a resume. So personal information, something that I really do not enjoy seeing on a resume would be things like I enjoy hiking, camping, skiing, things like that. That's great, but that didn't really serve a great purpose on the resume unless you are interviewing for a job with North Face, right? So North Face, they're all about rugged outdoor wear, and so if you have lived in the city your entire life and you have no interest of being outdoors, hiking, camping, anything like that, it may not be a good culture fit, though it might. It'd certainly be more beneficial if you had those things, but for the typical job, you're not going to put hobbies on your resume. Stay away from personal information as much as possible. You've got your identifiers at the top. That's pretty much as personal as you need to get. And references. About 5 years ago or so, people stopped putting references on their resume. People started putting a line saying, references available upon request. For me, that's another one of those objective statements. That's something that's obvious. You know, if you are interviewing for a job with me, and I say, okay, can I have some references from you? You're going to say, yes, sir. You know, the statement doesn't have to take up the line on your resume. So leave that line off. If the company asks for references, have references available. And here's a tip. Whatever your header is on your resume, you know, you've got your name, your address, your contact, that should be the same header on the document that you have your references on. That way, everything looks the same. If for some reason, a lot of people make a mistake of turning in their resume and then their references, and it's just a blank sheet of paper with names and numbers printed on it. If those two get separated, I don't know whose references these are. So you have to be really careful with doing that. So tip would be to put the same header on your references as you would your resume. Okay, any questions about parts of resume? Anybody think of any more that we haven't listed? So far, so good. Okay, types of resumes. 4 main types, and that would be a printed resume, an electronic resume, scannable resume, video resume, which is also known as a resume. Very clever, whoever thought of that. Resume. Okay, so a printed resume, we pretty much know what that is. That is what probably all of you have handed at some point a potential employer or someone who you want to learn more about their company with. What's an electronic resume?
When you upload to like one of the online sites, if you're looking for jobs.
Yes, that's part of the way there. We're on the computer now, and we're also online, so that's good. Last night when I taught the class, it took us. At first we were on the computer, then we got to a Word document, which was a plus, but we didn't get online yet. So now we're online. So that's a good start with electronic resume. Let's go a little further.
Like something you find on LinkedIn.
Okay, I can go with that. Yes. Let's keep going a little further.
Or that you email to the company?
That can also be true. Let's keep going a little further.
Walgreens actually has you turn it in via their website. You'll fill out all the information straight to the database.
Got it. That's it. It is, for the most part, when you think of an electronic resume, this is what we're talking about. However, LinkedIn, uploading a document, and things of that nature definitely count. When I'm talking about electronic resume, this is what I'm talking about, what Walgreens does. You are filling in fields. And what that does is it gets it into the format that they want. And it gets it into an easily readable format that they can, that their database, their computer, whatever, can scan really quickly, get the right information, can pretty much find out if you're a good candidate or not right away. So filling in the blanks, kind of, that's an electronic resume. Okay, scannable resume. Anybody ever had to do a scannable resume? I ever had to do one of those? Okay. Scannable resumes look a lot like your typical resume, except for they're extremely boring looking. Really, really boring looking. For example, so on your typical resume, you may have your name up here, and then you've got some sections, and then you've got some stuff written here, and then maybe a line or two, and maybe some bullet point stuff here. On a scannable resume, I mean, it's really going to look more like this. It's really going to look boring, but Don't worry. Don't, especially if you're a perfectionist or if you're really creative. If it bothers you to put something really bland and boring, don't worry. That's exactly what they've asked for. They need something that doesn't have things like lines that go through the middle. They don't need bullet points. They don't really need italics. Really, Times New Roman, Courier, 12-point font, no bold, no, just put it in there, because the thing is, it's not for human eyes, it's for computer eyes, right? They're just going to scan it through, look at it, it's going to pop out some things, and then they may ask you for one of these resumes if you make it through the cut. So scannable resume, really bland, boring, still the same content without all the bells and whistles. Okay, and a video resume. Any of you ever heard of or seen or been asked to do a video resume? So this probably dates back about 5 years ago as well. Video resumes were like the thing, especially for, it kind of took off with graduate school applications. And so it took off with graduate school applications for a lot of more prestigious schools, Ivy League schools. And so when you wanted to get in, you sent them a video, and it was kind of like a video resume. Well, those students graduated, and then whenever they went to apply for jobs, they sent out video resumes to those companies as well, because it helped them get into Ivy League school, because it helped them see the person, right? So that was a plus. Not so much anymore. They're not typically used. However, if you want to really impress a company, and you know that it's a company that would be accepting, go for it. For example, one is you need to know your audience, and we'll talk about that in communication. All of communication, you need to know your audience. But if you are interviewing with Google, you are going to do things a little bit different than you would with Microsoft. The culture is a lot different. For example, if you show up to an interview with Google wearing a tie, they'll probably not let you in the door. If you show up to an interview at Microsoft without a tie, they might not let you in the door. It's one of those things where the culture is extremely important. So Google, outside of the box, kind of uses a different side of the brain. They may see a video resume as something awesome, whereas working for Windows, Microsoft, whatever, they may say, "Oh man, we just asked for a paper resume. Like that's really what we wanted. We didn't, you went way out of the box, out of our comfort zone." So be prepared for that. So I want to show you a couple of video resumes, and let's talk a little bit about them.
Are you ready for action?
That's exactly what I thought about.
Kind of.
Or is that
I've seen that movie,
Is
but
that just an interview?
yes.
Hi, I'm Dave Hetherington. Your company's looking for someone. Me. Smart, capable, good looking, and motivated. I'm all of those 5 things. I strive to work for companies who can teach, motivate, and nurture a man of my size. This is your company right now. This is your company with me. It's on fire. I'm self-motivated. Logical aptitude skills. I mostly work with children and computers. Some people call me old-fashioned, but I think magic markers and colors are the best way to bring out my inner artist. I'm well-versed in advanced computering skills. I'm proficient in Microsoft Works, Windows 98, and when I get home, I like to download some tunes on Napster. I'll break the competition. I'm seeking a challenging opportunity in any industry. Your company needs men. Men who will fight. Men who will go into battle for your bottom line. Put me on the bottom. We'll see who bubbles to the top. I think one of my best attributes is I can work a part of a team. At an office party, I'm the guy you want to have be there. To all you hiring managers, I'm your knight in shining armor. They don't mean anything to me, but do they mean something to you? Looking for alternative forms of energy in your workplace? Me too. With a face like this, boldness is a necessity. So call someone.
Okay, so give me some feedback. What was your reaction to this video resume?
Really unprofessional.
Okay? Extremely unprofessional.
Maybe if it's for like SNL, they would like it.
Maybe for SNL. Like, they would probably love that, no doubt. What else?
I mean, if I was like looking for people and that person fit my description, I would know exactly that's what I wanted.
But rarely ever are you looking for that kind of person.
In that case, it's either a yes, I want that person, or no, I do not want that
Yeah,
person.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. What about some of the content, some of the things that he was saying that stuck out to you as positives or negatives? I mean, there were some positives in that. They did not outweigh the negatives, but there were definitely some positives.
Yes, some of the keywords. Like some of the keywords that you were talking about earlier, the ones that would
Yeah.
show up on a printed resume.
Sure. He definitely threw out some buzzwords in there, no doubt.
He gives contact information for
He did give contact information, that's right. He left you with his name and contact information. That's a positive. I would say his passion was a positive. What about some negatives?
He didn't say any sort of past career
Okay,
things. I mean, it showed like a picture of a
sure.
baseball team or something.
Yeah,
so-
yeah. He's a team player, right? But he didn't really talk about other projects that he worked on or other companies. Sure. There was you'd hire him. I saw you. I saw that. Okay, so there's nothing gets by me. I have 4 kids. I see everything. So the sorry. The one of the things that he mentioned was computer skills, and he mentioned Microsoft Works and Napster and things like that. That's something I wanted to mention to you as well. Sometimes I see on resumes proficient in Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint. So really what you're saying is you're proficient in Microsoft Office, which is great, except for if you're not, you probably are not a college graduate. So we can omit that from your resume as well. For the most part, if they're hiring you as a college graduate, there's an expectation that you know how to maneuver your way around Word, Excel, PowerPoint, things of that nature. So that's another thing that you, off the resume, as Phoebe would say. Off the resume. Now, you know how to do it, but we're just not going to take up space. Okay, so let's take a look at this video resume, and you tell me what you think.
In this global economy, your firm needs someone who understands how things work in different regions in the world. You need someone who understands your firm's core business values and to communicate them to different regions which has diverse business practices, languages, and cultural norms. You also need someone who knows how to communicate your firm's intentions through the most effective medium. My name is Saji Naya, and I'm that person. I've just done my master's degree in corporate communications with Auburn School of Business, Auburn University. My previous work experiences makes me unique. I've worked on 3 continents, and I've had 5 years full-time work experience in the areas of international marketing, public relations, advertising, event management, and social media management. The industries which I've worked in include telecommunications, education, art, design, and fashion. And I also speak 5 languages. You can find out more about me and my work on my website, www.sajita.com.
Okay. Feedback.
Boring.
Boring. Now the thing is, I kind of did build it up with Dave with all the passion, and then kind of sucked it right out of the room with her. So, okay, yeah, that was a little more boring. If you would have seen that one first, would you have said that was boring?
I would have said there's not really any flavor. Like, it's not really telling you anything about her personality. It's basically, this is all the
Maybe it
stuff that I've
is.
done. Okay, I just felt she's just like a
Then you
robot.
say
It felt like a
it's
robot.
boring. She's not dynamic. She's a kind of just
Like she's just like
was
one
alone.
personality.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like it almost seemed like she was a robot. This
Okay.
is who I am.
All right. Okay. Cool. All right. Good. I'm good for any kind. That doesn't offend me at all. I don't know the girl, so nor did I produce her resume. So what else?
For these video resumes, would it be better to like tailor it to the company or just have a generic one? Like, would you name the company in the video? Because they didn't.
Yeah. It kind of depends, right? So go back a little while, and you would not have done that because technology was so that, once you did it, that was it, and you couldn't really go back and do edits and change it. Now it's a lot easier to go in and make edits and change things. So yes, you could do your first cut of, and this is why I'm applying to work at Google. And then your next cut or your next video, you're wearing like a suit and tie, and this is why I'm applying to work at Microsoft, or something like that. So yes, you would probably want to tailor it to the company. Now, keep in mind, these video resumes, this isn't like candy. I mean, you need to be careful. You don't just need to pass them out to everybody. It could help you get the job, or it could extremely damage your career. There's a great example, and I wish I could remember the guy's name. I think his name, he actually changed his name. I don't remember. Anyway, this guy applied for a job at a brokerage firm, and if you go Google, impossible is nothing, or nothing is impossible, or something like that, something corny like that, you'll see this video, and it is him like doing some weightlifting, it's him doing ballroom dancing, it's him playing tennis, it's all kinds of stuff like that. And he sent it to this brokerage firm to apply for a job, and they pretty much made it a big joke. It got viral around the office, then it went to other brokerage firms, and they'd call him in, and he thought he was going in for an interview, and they just wanted to meet the guy who had this crazy. It ends very tragically. Go look it up. I have this inappropriate smile laughter thing. It doesn't end well for the guy, but he that's what I'm saying. You want to be careful with who you send it to. You want to make sure that at least that would be a kind of company that would be cool with the video resume, or it could actually damage your career. So he pretty much couldn't get a job anywhere on Wall Street. He had a degree from Yale, I think, and certainly was academically qualified to work on Wall Street in one of those big brokerage firms, but he couldn't get a job there, and anyway, kind of certainly ruined his career, and then there's life. So yes, the answer is you want to be careful with who you send it to, but yeah. Okay, so what are some other things about this one that we saw? Yep.
I like that she asked the questions in the beginning, like,
Cool.
Do you want somebody that does all this stuff? Because
Yeah.
I felt like that kind of could cater to what the company had actually kind of asked for.
Right, and so that we'll talk a little bit about that with the elevator pitch. You don't want to just start your elevator pitch with, and those of you who are going to work ahead, do not start your elevator pitch with, "Hi, my name is." You don't want to do that. You want to start it with some kind of general hook that gets me interested. For example, maybe you want to say something like, since I was a freshman in college and I took intro to accounting, I knew that I wanted to be an accountant. Okay, so now, whether that's true or not, certainly not for me. However, maybe for some of you. But now you've gained a little bit of interest instead of just saying, "Hi, I'm Nate and I'm an accountant," or I'm about to graduate with an accounting degree. The way she started was with questions. Do you need this kind of person? Are you looking for someone who's? And then she listed all of the ways that she is that person. Speaks 5 languages. Quite a resume, no doubt. What else?
I was just wondering because when she was giving like details of her experience in industries and areas, she was not like very specific of where she had worked with. What firm she had worked, and in that case, that you're like tailoring a video for a specific company or making it just like general. Like, would we have have to leave it just like general information? I have worked in this area, like fashion, or would you have to be like more specific about your experience?
Okay, sure. So it kind of depends on exactly what you're looking for. If you have worked for some stellar companies, definitely put them on there. If you've worked for companies that people aren't going to recognize because they're local, no reason to put them on there. Also, you want to leave something for them to call you. Maybe they start getting interested. Okay, well, what companies did she work for? What positions did he have? He said he had some senior marketing experience. Well, senior marketing experience can be all kinds of positions. So I'm interested to know what kind of roles he served within that company as a senior marketing executive. So, yeah, I mean, you certainly could fill in the blanks, or you could leave some so that they'll call you and find out a little more. Leave them hanging with just a little bit. Okay? All right. Cover letters. And we may not be able to cover all this today, but we'll try. I think we got maybe two more slides. Cover letters. Be persuasive, be original, meet immediate needs, be modest, be positive, and certainly at the end you want to mention that you have a desire to work with the company. The be persuasive, that makes a lot of sense. I'll tell you kind of the order of things. The cover letter gets them to look at your resume. The resume gets you the interview gets you the job. And that's the progression. Typically, they're not going to look at your resume and then see what you had to see in your cover letter. It's called a cover letter for a reason. It goes on top of the resume. Cover letter, resume, interview, job. Be original. Don't go to Google and say, hey, this is a sample cover letter. I will just change the names of the company from Acme Inc. to whatever company you're applying for. Meet the immediate needs. This goes back to that deal that we talked about, the qualifications. Go look at qualifications and see what the company said they needed. And if you possess those things, put them in your cover letter. For basic format, we're talking 3 paragraphs. They're not long, extensive paragraphs. We're talking 3 main paragraphs. Your first paragraph is kind of an introduction. It's that you're excited about the potential of the opportunity. Maybe lay a little bit of groundwork for how you meet some of the qualifications. Number 2 is how you do meet those qualifications. How the company could be valued from having you. And number 3 is just wrapping it up. And what I mean by wrapping it up is you need to make sure in that last paragraph that you make the ask. And the ask is just that you are wanting to have the opportunity to work with the company. It's like if you're a salesperson and you go through the whole sales pitch, but at the end you never say, so do you want to buy it? You need to make sure that you say, so do you want to buy it? Different term, obviously, different phrase, but you're selling yourself. So you want to make sure that they want to buy. So ask that question. The being modest part, nobody likes anyone who's arrogant. You need to be really careful with that. But no one really enjoys an arrogant person. So be modest, but don't sell yourself short. Some people will tell you a cover letter needs to redirect back to the resume and talk about things that are on your resume, so it kind of pushes them that way. I'm in the other school of thought that says, man, you've just been given a whole other sheet of paper to write about yourself. Don't say the stuff that you've already said. Let them learn new stuff about you like an onion. You're peeling them back, right? You read the cover letter, you learn something new, then you peel it back and you look at the resume. That's new stuff. Peel it back. Now we're talking about the interview. Those who say, your cover letter, resume, and interview all should be focused around the same stuff, that's really, really boring to me. You have a great opportunity to talk about different stuff. You need to get their attention within the cover letter. The first paragraph, and it would need to start something like, since a freshman at Harding University in Accounting 201, I realized I wanted to be an accountant. Some kind of hook. Certainly be positive. Never, ever, ever, ever list a weakness in a cover letter. Ever. Don't do the strengths and weaknesses thing. Do the strengths thing. If they ask for a weakness, awesome. Be prepared, and we'll talk about the interview portion later in the semester. But stay positive. and then leave the conversation with making sure they make sure that you make sure that they know that you want a position in the company. Okay, so what we'll do is we will stop right there for today. We will kind of pick up and talk a little bit more about resume format and things of that nature on Friday and discuss any more of the elevator pitch stuff. If you have any questions, I'm here. Hope you have a great day.